So we finally got our first trailer for the new Peaky Blinders movie, titled Peaky Blinders: The Immortal Man. The Peaky Blinders show, of course, followed gangster boss Thomas Shelby and the Shelby crime family in early 1900s Birmingham, loosely based on a real-life gang named so because they sewed razors into their caps. I've reviewed the whole show on the channel if you're interested in a complete series retrospective, and I do have some more videos on this series set to come out soon. I'm not sure if I would exactly call myself a fan of the show. For sure, I thought the first two seasons were great, as we followed this cat and mouse game between an obsessive inspector and a brilliant criminal in the Birmingham underworld. The third season was weird, with its Russian orgies and esoteric atmosphere. The fourth season was a lot of fun, with the Italian-American mobsters and Adrian Brody's discount Don Corleone impression. But it's with the final two seasons that the show kind of fell apart for me. Granted, the showrunners had to deal with things like Helen McCroy's death, but these two seasons were boring, dreary. The shift from the criminal underworld to politics was unfortunate. The show honed in its focus onto Thomas Shelby, who is great as the head of an ensemble cast, but not so interesting when an entire season is focused on his psyche. And I feel there was a fair bit of Flanderization happening towards the end. I don't know, the abundance of slow-mo walking scenes and Thomas Shelby smoking as he stares into the distance just got to me in the end. And the cringeworthy Sigma male grindset compilations you see online don't help. Which brings us to the new movie and the teaser trailer. And to be perfectly honest, I can't actually remember half the stuff that happened in the last season, but I do remember the plan for the show always being to follow the Shelby clan from the end of World War One to the beginning of World War Two, and it looks like the movie is set during the Second World War. According to IMDb, during World War II, Thomas Shelby returns to a bombed Birmingham and becomes involved in secret wartime missions based on true events, facing new threats as he reckons with his past and rising national stakes. So it does look like they're continuing with Tommy's trajectory rising, him getting involved in secret missions and such. The teaser doesn't give much away, but the shots of those fellas doing the Nazi salute is worth noting. What I'm getting from the teaser is that perhaps Tommy has been off-grid after the events of the final season. He comes back to his bombed-out hometown and tries to play a part in rebuilding it, which comes with classic challenges like opportunistic rival gangs and such. But he's also approached by undercover government officials to do a service for his nation once again. Cinematography looks good, I guess, but I don't know. I know this isn't going to be a commonly shared sentiment that hardcore fans hold, but given the title of the film and what we've seen in the trailer, it very much looks like it's going to continue being focused on Thomas Shelby rather than the Peaky Blinders as a whole. Plus the political stuff, which to me isn't as interesting. Then again, there does seem to be a fair bit of firebombing and Tommy gun shootouts, so hopefully those like me looking to have their underbelly crime world hook satisfied will have their fill, as well as those who are big fans of the titular character and his depression arc that was covered in season 5 and 6. There's a notable lack of Arthur in the film's trailer. He's perhaps the second most prominent character in the show, but for those who don't know, much like the character, the actor who portrays him has been having major issues with drug addiction, and it's thought that he was, to all intents and purposes, written out of the movie as a result. That's if, of course, he doesn't have some kind of surprise appearance, but it does look like he's not going to be in it, from behind-the-scenes news and even from interviews from the actor himself. There's a great many ways his absence can be explained. I suppose we'll be told he was killed off-screen. Maybe his death, his funeral, is a catalyst for Tommy's return to Birmingham. I do wonder who that grave belongs to that Tommy visits. It could be Arthur. It could be Aunt Polly's, what with the red scarf. Grace Shelby, maybe. It could even be his own, a false grave after faking his death in the final season. Perhaps the overall arc of the movie will be one of Tommy going back to his roots of being a crime boss. At the end of the series, he rides off with a white horse, symbolizing him choosing to leave a life of violence. But in the teaser and a few stills that have been released, we see him back on a black horse, suggesting he has reneged on his new philosophy. His clothes are of note too, starting off the trailer with no cap, looking significantly older. He says something like, "I'm not that man anymore." But over the course of the teaser, especially that final shot, he looks more and more like the old Thomas Shelby, wearing the suit and cap. I do hope they don't leave it too late in the movie for him to return to his old self, with it hopefully not being 2 hours of him moping around looking gloomy until he dons the clothes in a sequel tease. All in all, as a casual fan of the show who's not as invested as he once was, I'm hoping for a decent romp. What do you make of the teaser? Let me know in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel and thanks for watching.